By now, you've probably felt something shift. You're not just thinking about screen time, you're thinking about how your child actually handles the moments that matter. And that's a very different question. Because once you start looking at it that way, you realize something important. Most of what parents rely on is still a form of guessing. Guessing that your child will do the right thing. Guessing that they'll recognize something risky. Guessing that they'll come to you if something feels off. And sometimes they do. But sometimes they don't. Not because they're hiding something, because they didn't recognize the moment in time. And that's where most problems begin. Not with bad intentions, with missed signals. Now imagine something different. Imagine you could see clearly where your child is already strong, where they hesitate, where they're more likely to get pulled in. Not based on instinct, not based on hope, but based on real signals. Because when you have that clarity, everything changes. You stop overreacting to the wrong things. You stop underestimating the moments that actually matter. You stop using the same rules for every situation. And you start supporting your child in a more precise way. More calm, more focused, more effective. Because now, you're not guessing. You're responding to what's actually there. And something else changes too. Your child feels it. Because when support becomes more specific, it also becomes more fair. Less, you're always on your phone. More, I see where this might be difficult for you. And that's where trust starts to grow. But there's one challenge most parents run into. You can't build that level of clarity just by observing from the outside. Because many of the most important decisions your child makes happen when you're not there. In messages, in private moments, in fast decisions that leave no trace. So the real question becomes, how do you actually see what's going on? This is exactly where a structured assessment becomes powerful. Not as a test, not as a judgment, but as a way to make the invisible visible. To understand how your child responds to real scenarios, where they pause, where they struggle, where they're already strong. And most importantly, what kind of support actually helps them grow. Because at the end of the day, this is not about control. It's about raising a child who can handle the world even when you're not there. And that starts with clarity. If you feel like you want to understand your child's online readiness more clearly, the next step is simple. Take the free readiness assessment. In just a few minutes, you'll get a clearer picture of where your child is strong, where they may be vulnerable, and what actually matters next. No guessing, no pressure, just clarity. Because the more clearly you see, the better you can guide.